In a small Wisconsin town, the dead have risen, but they're not mindless zombies. They remember who they are. Welcome to Revival, where resurrection comes with secrets.
Welcome back to Top Secret Inc. I'm Thorne Bishop, and today we're diving headfirst into the chilling, slow-burn mystery wrapped in blood, folklore, and good old-fashioned Midwestern paranoia. We're cracking open Revival Vol.1, Year Among Friends, the 2012 graphic novel by writer Tim Seeley and artist Mike Norton. It's a supernatural crime drama that reads like Fargo meets the X-Files, with a heavy dose of existential dread and small-town weirdness. This isn't your typical zombie fare. Forget about the apocalypse here. Revival asks a more terrifying question. What if the dead came back and just, stuck around? What happened to a town forced to live with its sins face to face? Buckle up. This one gets really twisted really quick. In a small remote town in rural Wisconsin, a bizarre event occurs. On a single day, all the recently deceased come back to life. The living dead, dubbed as revivers, they're not zombies. They're perfectly normal people, physically unchanged, with their minds and memories intact. The government quarantines the town, cutting it off from the rest of the world. Deputy Dana Cypress is tasked with keeping the peace, and her first major case is investigating the murder of a reviver. That victim is her own sister, M, who was killed before her revival. Dana's investigation into her sister's murder deepens, and she begins to uncover a conspiracy that goes beyond the town's quarantine. She discovers that not all revivers are all benign as they seem. Some have dark sides, and in their strange return to life has given them some new twisted perspective on the world. Meanwhile, the town's residents, both the living and the revived, struggle to cope with their new reality. The presence of a charismatic televangelist further complicates matters, as he tries to exploit the situation for his own gain. The mystery surviving M's murder takes a new turn when Dana finds a disturbing connection to a secret research facility. She also finds herself dealing with the consequences of an investigation as she comes into conflict with her superiors and some more powerful residents of the town. Meanwhile, M, who's struggling to remember the circumstances of her death, finds herself haunted by strange visions and an insatiable hunger that she can't explain. This issue ratchets up to the tensions in the horror. The conflict between Dana and her sister M grows as M's behavior becomes more and more erratic. M attempts to uncover the truth about her death, led down a dark and dangerous path, and she finds herself clashing with the living residents of the town. Dana's investigation puts her at odds with a federal agent, which further isolates her from her family. Also an issue 4, they introduce a strange mythical creature that seems to be preying on the revivers. This issue pushes the characters to their breaking points. The strained relationships between the two sisters, who are already distant before the revival, become a source of immense drama and conflict. The introduction of a supernatural creature that targets the revivers hints that the revival is not just a scientific anomaly, but a cosmic event with a much more sinister origin. This volume ends with a shocking revelation about the true nature of the revival and the strange creature that's been preying on the town. Dana's investigation uncovers a dark conspiracy that involves powerful figures in the community, and her and M's lives are put in immediate danger. The confrontation with the creature leads to a brutal and violent climax, with the fate of both sisters hanging in the balance. The final issue of this volume serves as a powerful and emotional conclusion to the initial arc. It provides some answers to the central mystery while also leaving many questions unanswered and setting the stage for future conflicts. The bond between Dana and M is put to the ultimate test, and in the ending, the town of Wasu and the characters within it in a state of peril and uncertainty, with the promise of more horrors to come.
Before we dive deeper into the mission, let's pull the files on the key players: heroes, villains, rogues, and wildcard operatives. This is the subject profiles. Dana Cypress, the reluctant enforcer. A driven, duty-bound cop pulled into a conspiracy deeper than she ever expected. She's not just protecting the town, she's investigating her own sister. M. Cypress, the girl who died twice. Dana's sister and one of the revived. M's violent tendencies, memory gaps, and secrets make her both victim and threat. You can't trust what she remembers or what she's capable of. Sheriff Wayne Cypress, the gatekeeper. Dana and M's father. He's the old-school, no-nonsense sheriff trying to hold Walsall together while hiding more than a few skeletons of his own. Ibrahim Ramin, the government man CDC liaison sent to investigate the revival event. Calm, calculating, and always watching. But is he working for answers or containment? The exorcist, the ghost whisperer. A mysterious man who claims to see the spiritual corruption infecting the town. His warnings are cryptic, his presence chilling, and his motives unknown. Mei Tao, the local journalist Wasau's truth digger, determined to expose what's really going on, no matter the risk. Her investigation might be the key to unraveling the entire mystery. Arlene Dittman, the quiet time bomb. An elderly reviver whose serene resurrection turns grotesque when something snaps inside. Her shocking moment sets the tone for what's truly at stake.
Dana Cypress is our anchor. She's tough, pragmatic, and driven by loyalty to her family. Her arc in Vol.1 is about reckoning with the job, with the town, and her sister's secrets. She's grounded, but torn between truth and duty. M. Cypress, her sister, meanwhile, is the tragic enigma. At first, she's the rebellious young sister with a sharp tongue. But as the story unfolds, her resurrected nature reveals something deeper. She's scared, haunted, and possibly dangerous. Watching M struggle with fragments of memory and outbursts of violence adds a rich layer to her story arc. Tim Seeley's writing blends investigative grit with supernatural suspense. Dialogue feels authentic, especially among Midwestern townfolk, and the pacing is really tight. Seeley keeps you guessing while slowly dialing up the tension. Each issue ends with a hook that begs you to keep on going. Now, Mike Norton's artwork is clean and cinematic. His panel work focuses on expression and environment, emphasizing the eerie calm before each emotional or violent storm. The colors, courtesy of Mark Egelnerk, really pop out during those horror sequences. Ghostly whites and crimson reds make the supernatural stand out from the mundane Midwest.
They told us not to ask questions. They said the files were corrupted, the intel classified, the case closed. But we kept digging. Welcome to Black Box Theories, where the facts don't add up, the coincidences aren't random, and the truth, buried under layers of denial. Strap in, agent. You're not supposed to hear this. Theory number 1, the M switch. Classification, cold file. High speculation. M wasn't revived. She was replaced. Clues suggest this version of M has different behavior, violent instincts, and fragmented memories. What if whatever came back just wears M's face? Theory number 2. Walsall is the epicenter. Classification, active file. The revival isn't global. It's localized. Theories suggest something buried under Walsall, an artifact, contamination, or cursed land, is responsible. The spirits seen in the woods may be connected to ancient or indigenous folklore. Theory number 3. Ghosts are watching. Classification, red alert. Those white spirit creatures seen in the forest. They're not ghosts of the dead. They're observers. Some fans believe they're dimensional entities documenting the fallout of resurrection or guiding the process. Theory number 4. Dana is immune. Classification, speculative active. Dana's the only one deeply exposed to both M and the reviver incidents, but shows zero symptoms. Could she have natural immunity, or is she something else entirely? Theory number 5. Government cover-up. Classification. Classified. Confirmed suspicion. Evidence points to the CDC knowing more than they're letting on. Why was Warsaw locked down so fast? Why is the press being silenced? This may not be a reaction, but a containment. Theory number 6. Revival is not resurrection. Classification. Speculation. The revived aren't back to life. They're trapped in a repeating death cycle. The blackouts, hallucinations, and rage incidents. Echoes of the trauma they experienced during death. Theory number 7. M killed herself. Classification. Hidden truth. What if M's murder wasn't a murder at all? If she committed suicide, it may explain her memory block and why her revival is more unstable than others.
Wausau, Wisconsin feels like a character in itself. It's all snow, silence, and suspicion. A quiet town with noisy neighbors, religious conservatism, and everyone's keeping a secret. That tension, you feel it in every snow-dusted street corner and church basement. The tone is eerie and melancholy. Revival isn't built on action. It's built on dread. Something is always lurking just off the panel. You're not scared because of what you see, but because of what you don't. The horror here whispers rather than screams. At its core, Revival explores grief and denial. The returned dead force the town to confront personal regrets, unfinished business, and spiritual anxieties. Resurrection here isn't a blessing. It's a curse that magnifies everything unresolved. Another theme? We have faith versus science. As authorities try to control the situation with lockdowns and surveillance, locals turn to religion, exorcism, and folk beliefs. It's a town split between belief systems, and the dead sit right at the crossroads.
Some intel doesn't belong in the open. When a story gets too twisted, too dangerous, or just too damn weird, we file it under red. This is the Red Files, classified content, high-risk statistics, and the kind of secrets you don't unsee once exposed. Proceed with caution, Agent. Red File number 1, the Farm Noir genre. Tim Seeley coined the term Farm Noir to describe Revival's unique blend of small-town life and supernatural crime, a genre mashup that's rarely seen in comics. Red File number 2, Midwest Accuracy. Seeley and Norton are both from Wisconsin and based Revival on real-life Midwest culture, towns, and mannerisms. Even the snowdrifts are accurate. Red File number 3, Ties to Hack Slash. Tim Seeley is best known for Hack Slash. Fans have long speculated that Revival exists in the same universe, though nothing official confirms it. Red File number 4, based on real folklore. The ghostly white spirits seen in the forest resemble will-o'-the-wisps, a common legend in both European and Native American folklore. Red File number 5, Original Run. Revival ran for 47 issues between 2012 and 2017. Volume 1 covers the first 5 issues and sets up multiple arcs that unravel slowly over time. Red File number 6, Award Recognition. Revival was nominated for Best New Series in multiple comic circles in 2013, including the prestigious Harvey Awards. Red File number 7, Background Easter Eggs. Artist Mike Norton filled background panels with hints. Look closely and you'll spot minor revivers, religious symbols, and mirrored imagery suggesting double lives. Red File number 8, Secret Soundtrack. Tim Seeley once mentioned that while writing Revival, he often listened to artists like Nick Cave and Johnny Cash to maintain the eerie tone.
Revival hit hard during the zombie boom, but it swerved hard left. Instead of apocalypse narratives or gore fest, it offered psychological horror and small-town drama. It's more Stephen King than Walking Dead, a quiet horror that burrows under your skin. Culturally, it taps into post-9/11 paranoia, quarantine fears, and that thin veneer of suburban normalcy. It asks, what would your town look like if all the secrets walked through the door tomorrow? If you like Twin Peaks, Revival scratches that same itch. Small town, big secrets, supernatural weirdness. Like The Leftovers, it explores the emotional aftermath of the unexplainable more than the event itself. If you're into Black Hammer, Revival similarly blends genre tropes with personal ground storytelling. But what makes Revival stand apart is its fusion of police procedural with metaphysical horror. Few comics manage this balance, and fewer still make it feel like this personal. Critics and fans praise Revival for its original take on resurrection. It's a slow-burning storytelling and female-led narrative. It was nominated for a Harvey Award and maintained strong sales throughout its 47-issue run. It's now considered a cult classic in horror comics. While it didn't have the bombastic splash of other Image titles, it carved a loyal fan base and remained one of Tim Seeley's most ambitious and heartfelt works.
All right, agents, intel has been gathered, dossiers reviewed, and it's time to declassify the best of the best. Welcome to the awards segment, where we spotlight the operatives, wild cards, and game-changing moments that made this mission unforgettable. Let's hand out some top secret honors.
Top Operative Award, M. Cypress. Hands down, M steals the show. Her transformation from snarky sister to something unrecognizably tragic is the heartbeat of Volume 1. The more she resists her death, the more we're drawn into the chilling mystery of how she returned and what she might become. Dark Horse Award, The Exorcist. Creepy, cryptic, and never quite explains himself. This unnamed exorcist drops in Wausau like an omen. He steals every scene, and in the hints at deeper forces at play, making him the breakout character we needed to keep an eye on. Spyglass Sequence Award, M's flashback attack. The scene where M remembers everything she died is explosive. A brutal physical confrontation, surreal imagery, and terrifying loss of control. It's the perfect blend of horror and emotional gut punch, cementing the series as something special. All right, operatives, let's break it down. Revival 1 doesn't come screaming out the gate. It's methodical, creeping thriller, and that's part of the charm. Its strength lies in its atmosphere, character development, and a mystery that drips out like melting snow. That said, some readers might find the pacing a little slow or the answers too few and far between. It asks a lot of patience, but rewards it with general tension and character drama, and that's rare in horror comics. This book is for fans of psychological horror, crime dramas, and small-town mystery. If you need explosions on every page, then this is definitely not going to be your jam. But if you want mood, moral ambiguity, and quiet chills, you're going to eat this up. It scores points for its female-led story, its original twist on the zombie trope, and the Midwest setting that feels both familiar and alien. Final score, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's strange, smart, and quietly terrifying. Not your typical horror comic, and that's exactly why it works.